Something was happening on the back of my leg, getting scraped against this truck. I got a bruise on the back of my leg.
This guy is gonna complain about the one day he got
it was this big. The pitch was just a guy meets a girl, they go on this amazing date, they hit it off right away, and then she ghosts him, disappears. He flies over to kind of pursue the romance that he felt, only to find out she's a spy, and it just felt like a movie that I grew up on, like something that, like, you know, from the 90s, where it was just a fun concept, you know, a little bit of a role reversal in terms of, you know, gender norms and things like that. But it just felt like a fun thing that was very rewatchable. Movies that I just don't see enough of right now. And I just thought it would be a fun ride. Most action characters I've played are the ones saving the day, and Cole is the one who needs saving. Which is nice. You know, it's not only nice for, you know, the experience of not having to work anywhere near as hard as Anna did while on set, but it's fun as an actor to play someone that is human, that reacts to things the way most of us would, which is, you know, panic.
As soon as I read the script, I was like, this is a lot of fun. If I can imagine my next 3 months of work with these two guys, I can see that this is going to be a lot of fun. They gave me the chance to come on board as an executive producer too, and participate in that stage of the process and have a voice and be creative with them and work on the script and share notes and back and forth and, you know, kind of like have something to say in the creation of, you know, who Sadie was. It was a good collaboration.
It's a grand romantic gesture.
Yeah, that is amazing, mate. 5,000 miles to surprise a girl who you've only met once, especially if she's the one who ghosted you.
No, she didn't ghost me. She just doesn't have an international calling plan.
Oh, right.
Where am I?
Oh, God, you have the wrong guy? I'm a farmer. Wait. Whoa.
Can you walk, Cole? For me, these two characters, the whole story is very relatable. They present themselves as everything is going the way they want, and they've made the choices of having the life that they have, and everything is fine. But underneath that is just, they're very afraid of going deeper and showing themselves, you know, being vulnerable and loving and jumping off the cliff with someone else. She's, you know, I really like that she was so strong and skilled and prepared, and she was #1 at the agency, and she gets all the toughest and difficult missions, and at the same time she's just really scared of loving someone and losing that person. Once she meets Cole, it's just really hard to keep on. The contrast of that conflict was really cool.
I love hanging out with Anna, but with this film, we actually got to kind of be, you know, charming together and sweet. And
we don't hate each other in this one.
Yeah, exactly. We're not so adversarial. It's actually, you know, fun repartee, and that was something we hadn't had a chance to do yet. It's just a fun journey to go on. It's very romancing the stone, you know what I mean? You have very different people that for some reason are drawn to each other, but put in these heightened circumstance where you strip away comfortable conditions, it brings out very truthful and honest reactions to you know, someone that you not that long ago had a very wonderful, romantic, intimate connection, and all of a sudden you have to level jump, you know, into this extreme, you know, situation.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have the time to actually get to know each other slowly. Yeah. They're just like, everything is really rushed, and they just start finding out everything, like for real, what's going on with each other. And of course they're gonna fight, and of course they're gonna argue. It's like everything is like every other relationship, just very rushed and in very extreme life or death situation, which is what makes it more endearing and funny.
I like the moments in between the battles. You know, the battles are funny because, you know, Sadie's in her element, Cole is terrified, but those calm moments where Cole feels lied to, he wants to be upset. If this were a normal circumstance, you'd have the space to kind of have a discussion about why you felt betrayed and you hurt the trust, but you know, you're dodging bullets. And so, you know, anytime the action calms a bit, underneath it all, there's a real human story.
Who are you?
CIA.
So confused. They kept asking me about the tax man.
They asked you about the taxman?
They think I am a tax man. Avoid the taxman.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
To be in a movie that does have such amazing action, but I don't have to do any of it, was fantastic.
My experience in Bond was very short. Not just
But meaningful.
in
Come on, you stole it.
Yeah. I don't
stole
mean
it.
only in the movie, like screen time, but also preparing for it. I didn't have time. Compared to this one, I was training for months. I had to carry on, for the most part, all the big stunts, which was, again, very exciting and gave me the chance to like get better at it. I feel like there is this sense of only men can carry an action-packed movie, and this is clearly an example of that not being the case. I wanted to look like legit. I wanted to do it right. I was not going to settle for a so-so whatever take. I would go back to the monitor and try to be as perfectionist as I always am and do it again and again and again to improve and do it better. So that was very exhausting but very rewarding. I felt like the characters were worth the pain that you have to go through.
She did this sequence where she, beats up 3 guys and flips some guy over her head, and I just was like, whoa, all right, she's been doing her training.
You know what's difficult for me? To hold up a gun.
It is hard. Every time I see a scene in a movie
if
where
it's a
someone
hand,
has to do it the whole scene, it's incredibly heavy.
If it's a pistol, like a small gun, it's fine. But as long as it gets a little bigger, forget it. Like, I cannot do it one hand. I would just go like, He was either up or down, but never straight.
I really like the plane, although I feel like we were in that plane forever. There was something about just kind of a really, tight space. Although, I like the bus too. I don't know if I could have a favorite.
The last scene in the restaurant was tricky. Also, technically, that restaurant was actually spinning.
It's a beautiful concept, great idea, very tough when it comes to filmmaking. We had pieces of set, the wall of the restaurant that you had to put completely flat on its back, and we would lie down and the camera's going over, these illusions to achieve very difficult stunt pieces.
All the characters were on set, everyone was there, was packed. It was complicated. We were there also for a couple weeks shooting this scene, a lot of coverage. I was once again in a dress and high heels. That was made things a little bit more complicated too for me. A few injuries, bruises everywhere, but I also bruise. I sneeze and I bruise. So, it's also like very challenging for me. There was nothing to hide.
So
I couldn't put any pads. Pretty sure some of the money for CGI went to covering my bruises.
You got me kidnapped and tortured all after one day. I swallowed a rock.
You're the one who flew to London.
It was a romantic gesture.
Some of my favorite rom-coms are... I like... What do I like? I like Notting Hill.
I like Notting Hill too. I'm going to just say this.
I like Love Actually.
When Harry Met Sally.
I was just going to say When Harry Met Sally is a
I
classic.
watched it in the plane the other day and I was laughing.
Sleepless in Seattle. But is that like a rom-com? That's like almost an elevator. It's such a good movie. Sleepless in Seattle is great. Oh, I know I'm missing a good one. And then tonight I'm going to be like, I like Grosse Point Blank. That's a rom-com, kind of. Again, it's like this, it's almost like an elevated rom-com because the writing and acting is so good.
Serendipity?
I haven't seen Serendipity. Is that good? Really?
What?
I guess I'm watching Serendipity tonight.
Who hasn't seen Serendipity?
Is that Kate Beckinsale?
Yeah.
And John
Cusack? Yeah.
I guess I know it. I don't know why I haven't seen it. I love Han Solo and Princess Leia. They have such a good dynamic. That was always kind of the model for this movie. This kind of, you're barking at each other, but it's because you really like each other. Maybe Richard Gere and Julia Roberts. That's a good one.
I was going to say Julia and George Clooney too.
Sure, and Julia and Hugh Grant. Julia's done really well for her. She's really good for her. Oh, Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. That's a good little duo, isn't it? 51st Dates. It's a classic.
Yeah.
It's funny when you look at your career from 10,000 feet up and you see, man, I've done a lot of comic book movies or a lot of action movies lately or whatever it is. I don't know that there's necessarily a plan in terms of like, you know what, I'm tired of this genre, I want to explore that genre. Usually it's the people, you know, it's the director, your co-stars, and if they happen to be doing a, you know, horror movie, looks like you're doing a horror movie. I don't think genre is the thing that steers the ship. It's usually, you know, the people you got to go to work every day with. I love Steve Rogers. He's very, very dear to me, but that's exactly the reason that I'm hesitant to revisit, because it is so precious to me. It's this little shiny thing that I have that I'm just so proud of, and to revisit it would have a lot of implications, and you want to make sure that it would need to be told. They did a comic signing in Chicago recently, and yeah, they wanted to know if I was going to come back, and I said, look, do I think there's more stories to be told with Steve Rogers? Sure, but that doesn't mean you jump back into it. What that period of time was, what Marvel accomplished during that decade of weaving these movies together in a way that no one's ever done it, and having such a good, you know, landing with Endgame, really tough to want to mess with that. I love the character. I would obviously love to keep playing him forever, but it just doesn't really make sense to me right now.
Did it never occur to you that he could be a foreign asset trying to compromise your mission?
Who the hell are you? I'm the boyfriend.
We just make a very cute pair. And we're really, I think it's a very sweet, very charming story, and these two characters are very lovable and easy to connect with. And I think people are going to enjoy seeing both of us, mostly Chris, going through this adventure.
If a movie's done well like this, it's like comfort food. You know what I mean? You have a little personal connection with it, and you can watch it 100 times and never get tired of it.
It's a feel-good movie. Children can watch this, and teenagers and young people, older people, I don't know, like it feels like it's a family movie.
If these are characters that people gravitate towards and it's a fun ride, it's fun to revisit.
I mean, it definitely, the ending leaves it open for something, more missions. If they promise me I will have as much fun as I had in this one, I will definitely go back.